Moving from panel discussion to interview, and for that I'm very happy to welcome the president of KNX Sweden to share also his opinion about KNX and security and what the market conditions in Sweden are like. Per, welcome to this KNX Security Day. Thank you very much for being my interview partner today. Per, just to get started right away, who are you? Can you give some
absolutely.
words about you?
Thank you for inviting me. And then who am I? My name is Per Melander, and as you mentioned, I'm a president of the KNX Sweden, the organization where we do the marketing of the KNX technology within Sweden. Personally, I've been in the business building automation for many years, about 40 years within the business, and working in different positions. So I think I know the market quite well here in Sweden for building automation. So I'm working in one of the large manufacturer of building automation products and systems. So that's my background. Long time in the business, working with one of the large manufacturer and also president of KNX Sweden. So yes, thank you.
40 years, that is older than KNX as such is. So I think that you definitely have seen the whole development in terms of security coming from pre-KNX times to nowadays. Before we talk about this, about your experience, I think we just would like to know what is the current status of security in Sweden. Sweden is a very developed country. And the topic of security, is it actually something that you hear about it in the news? Is it like written in all the newspapers or in the newsletters? What is the situation of security?
Yeah, it's quite often nowadays discussed about security. I just came from another meeting where we discussed security in the new way for buildings and how to handle that. So, and in newspapers we can see also especially now when you see the threat from foreign countries with the war situation, etc. So the security is really on the agenda at the moment. So it's a highly, yeah, it's a highly hot topic at the moment. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense, especially when everything is connected to the cloud, as we also pointed out, with all the hacking attacks. I guess, maybe like everything with how the world developed, the topic of security becomes the topic that everybody starts to look at. Maybe now jumping also right into the experience that you have. When do you think was like a turning point for security in the world of smart homes and smart buildings? What would you say?
Let's say we can divide it in different steps, I would say, but earlier it's maybe since 10 years the importance of security when you have systems connected to internet, because we saw and we read some cases where there were some problems with people getting into system they shouldn't get into, etc. So I would say about 10 years ago I started to see it in newspaper. And of course, if you look at the internet connections in general, there we have a quite high security level, I think, today already, with firewalls in every building, etc. So that's quite well established, that kind of security issues. But of course, if you then go into the building, that's a totally different thing, I would say, because there it's just recently starts to discuss about that it's also important to protect from the inside of the building. I would say one thing is the frame around the building, where we have had the discussions about security a long time, and the other thing is in the inside. And to be honest, if you look at the building management or the building management products and systems, that has not been really a high issue of security since, because if you look at the situation there, it's not really, it was really against the outside of the building that was discussed a long time, but within the system itself has not been an issue until a couple of years ago when it started, I would say. Yeah.
In the past, or like in one of my past presentations here during the KNX Security Days, I also mentioned about access to the KNX installation inside the building. So like through physical access. I've shown some ways, tips and tricks, according to the KNX Security checklist, how to prevent this physical access to the building. But have you ever experienced something like that somebody was tampering with an installation inside the building? Or is that like a phenomena which is absolutely new?
For me personally, it's quite new. That kind of if you go into the building, but of course we have seen cases when people went into the building from the outside security, and we have some. I know friends that work in different companies, or yeah, mainly in companies so far. They have ransom attacks where somebody get into the system and encrypted the whole system, and then yeah, required some money to open it up, etc., etc. So that happens. But to be honest, they don't really talk about it because they are, I don't know if they are ashamed from the company side, or they see that it's maybe a higher risk if they talk about it. So it's they don't often publish it in the open news, I would say.
Yeah.
But if you talk to people, you hear it for sure.
Yeah, so as such, it was
So,
always like a topic, security, right? Wasn't it? We just wouldn't talk about
yeah,
it.
absolutely. And today, as you mentioned, cloud-based platform with easy access, open system, cloud solutions, etc. Now it's really require a higher level of security, both mindset, both functionality, but also mindset of the people, I would say, to protect themselves.
All right, good. Yeah, well, thank you very much for this insight. I think that was like a bit like of an inside view that we had. Thank you very much for that. Maybe moving on a bit like to a lighter, digestible topic, because right now we were talking a bit like
Mhm.
about high class systems from
Yeah, yeah,
KNX.
yeah.
Also, we moved on to the management level. Many people here, though, would also like a bit more how, yeah, smart homes and smart building systems can be regarded from a, let's say, lower level. Nowadays, we see also many off-the-shelf solutions, gadgets, smart light bulbs, and so on. Um, what is your view on that, respectively? What do you do differently from your manufacturer's point of view compared to those, let's say, less to those simple solutions?
The main thing from my side is really that, first of all, I'm really keen on you need a kind of standardization and international standard to survive over time. I mean, if you have some invention with small simple system that are quite local, and a few manufacturers, etc., then you are a little bit, the investment are not really protected from yourself. I mean, what's happening within 10 years if you need spare parts, etc. But if you go for example, for KNX, as you mentioned, it's more than 30-year old. It's a huge amount of manufacturer, and then a lot of people know it, and it's an international independent standard, so you know that it will develop over time. It will follow the trends, it will follow the security things. So I think to be safe and to feel that your investment is protected, you should really go for this kind of standard. And KNX is an excellent example of that, with the long term history, with all the manufacturers, etc. And another thing that's extremely important for me is also we have, I mean, it's not only the product and this installation, you also have the tooling there. And here we have one tool that take care of all the stuff. So that's also a really good feature of KNX, that we have one tool that we can really work with also the security parts there. So
Okay, good.
so my,
Yeah,
my,
that
my, my my point of view is really important to follow standard, to have an independent system, to have an international standard, to see that it survive over time.
all right. That pretty much points it out. Yeah, like not only the advantages of KNX as such are very important, also for the future and for sustainability. We always also strive for providing the highest security standards. Of course, like one of the later presentations, we will learn a bit like how the technology as such, not only the available solutions have developed, but also the technology as such.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
this, we're going to talk, however, in a later presentation. Right now, I would also like to learn, because now we also have the chance to talk about a bit like of national situations, how the market is a bit different from other markets. In terms of KNX, let's maybe start just KNX in general. You have experience in, yeah, the worldwide market, I would also say. Where do you see like what is a bit different about the Swedish market than compared to the rest of the world?
I would say in Sweden we have been always been a bit curious about new technology. I think so. We are quite often in an early phase with new technology, testing a lot of new things. That's also why we are now have a lot of things regarding cloud-based platforms there, where we would like to connect everything, all the data from the buildings, etc. So now I see I see trends in the market that a lot of consortium are now building up a kind of cloud-based platforms where they connect data from buildings. So
Okay.
we see several examples of that. So that's will come more and more, I would say. Yeah,
And in terms of
common
about
platforms. Yeah,
security, in
yeah,
terms about
and
security,
and
do you
and,
think
and
that the Swedish think different than the rest of the world? Are they more concerned about security, or maybe even less because technology is such a given?
difficult to say if you compare to other countries. I think it's a topic in many countries at the moment,
Right
I
now,
would
you're
say.
talking on
Of
behalf
course,
of every Swedish person. So no, of course, like
no,
it's
but
it's
of
pretty
course,
much
as
about like what you
mentioned,
think. Yeah.
yeah, my personal opinion there, of course, it's a hot topic at the moment. We see discussions of security every day, more or less now. I think, especially since we have the war situation close to us in Europe, and what will happen there. We will be see attacks from foreign countries into our systems, etc. What can happen? I was just leaving a meeting where we were discussing how can an attacker hurt a building or hurt an energy system, electrical systems? Can they turn it off, etc., from foreign, if they have the connection? So it's really becoming very important. I think I see the last year it's raising and raising every day, more or less, the importance of that. So from that point of view, I think we are quite aware within Sweden about security. So I think we are quite it is an important topic here in Sweden. It's important in other countries as well, but maybe you are a little bit in front of it. Yeah,
Okay.
if I
Where do you
compare to
see
other
the
countries. Yeah,
role of sure? Where do you see the role of KNX Sweden here in this whole discussion? Do you think that KNX
yeah.
Sweden should like take like a special
Mm,
involvement
mm,
here?
yeah. What we see from KNX Sweden, I mean, we are doing marketing for the KNX technology or functionality, and as mentioned, it should be easy access and open system, etc. But we also have now informed a lot of security stuff. We have webinars about security. We invite system integrators, installers, etc., and we tell them about the new functionality within the KNX with IP secure, with data secure, etc. And we starting to rolling out this message that KNX is a front runner actually regarding security. If you could look at building protocols for building automation, there KNX I think was really the first international large standard that implemented security stuff within the protocol. And of course we inform all our members, and we invite, and we have newsletter, we have a homepage, internet page for KNX Sweden.
So as such, we see KNX Sweden being very active, which is very good. Moving on maybe now to the final question so that we can also move on to the next part of the agenda. Since we have a man here with 40 years of experience and also has seen the whole development of the industry, especially in terms of security, and like who still had a meeting about security before we actually had this interview, I just want to give you the floor to say what you would like to say to the entire KNX community. What do you expect from the KNX community to do in this, in regards to the KNX security available?
Yes, as mentioned earlier, KNX Sweden, we are working with mainly information, and we do webinars, both information, short webinars with short informations about what's happening, but also some deep diving webinars where we go a little bit deeper in different topics. We have had one about security, for example. We also in the autumn here we will actually start to go to some exhibitions again. So we will have some seminars in some of the exhibitions there. We have Elmässan Syd, we have Elmässan in Stockholm, and there we will have seminars, and we will talk about KNX in general, but also of course security, which is a new thing and a very hot topic. So that will be a part of that stuff. We will also have a small booth in Stockholm, in the Stockholm exhibition, and we sending newsletters. So our message is really to follow. We give information so please follow KNX Sweden as much as possible. You get the latest information, the actual information, and we have a quite new home internet page, which is knx.se. So please go there, and there you will find more information. And if you are interested, you should also see if you're interested to be a member, and then you can participate in our different webinars and get the information from us, etc. So we will try to inform about the actual situation and the development of the KNX portfolio, I would say, both functions and security and whatever it is. Yes.
Right. Also, not only for people that are Swedish, also like if you might be like from some other country, just check out everything that Per just mentioned, the website, and if you have some questions about like what is there, maybe in Swedish, maybe it's also available like in the language that you would like to have. Also in terms of activities, webinars, usually the whole KNX community is full with nice activities for you also to learn about KNX.
Yeah.
Per, thank you very
Absolutely.
much for this interview. Thank you very much. That was
Thank you.
very insightful, also like with all the insights that you've been given. For any kind of questions, feel free, of course, to contact us. I will channel then the question straight to Per, and Per then can also give you then the according guidance from his position where he is in order to also help you to implement not only KNX, but also the highest security standards. Thank you very much, Per.
Absolutely.
And we move on
and
to the next
yeah.
point.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you for being able to have this speech. And of course, you can contact me, and I have also a lot of contacts within the business here, so I can support you anyway in some way. I'm
Great.
quite sure.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Per. Moving on.
Thank you, Christian. Bye bye.